What's up guys, this is ToD. I've not been very active lately with my VODs on YouTube on the English part of things, so I wanted to change that. And I'm going to do a tutorial on a PvZ game that I played today, where I try to explain some of the decisions I take and the difference between the way I will play in Heart of the Swarm as opposed to how I would have played it in Wings of Liberty. So just making sure the sound is alright. It shouldn't be too loud compared to my voice. So on this map, which is Belshir Vestige, I'm gonna opt to go for a gate opener. Basically because you see this area around here. If Zerg opens with a quick gas, they can go for hatch first and then gas and pull, or even just go for pull and then gas, or gas, pull and then hatch. But in any of these cases, they will get speed pretty quickly. And sometimes some Zergs, they will even open gas, pull and then hatch. Just because they know that even if you go for a forge expand, they can get speed very quickly and you're going to have a very long and hard time walling off completely here after you throw down your Nexus. And then the speed might kick in at 5 minutes and then you can do a big run by and do some damage. If you see your opponent is doing a very good job walling off, you can go for a Bailing Bust. There is a lot of options as a Zerg, and it's going to be almost unscoutable as a Protoss because Zerg will have overloads on the map and they have queens to basically deny any type of scouting. So I go for the gate opener. I don't scout. It will be my first Zealot's job to go out on the map and scout. Then I go for the Mothership Core right after my gate. And I do a lot of chrono boost on my Nexus, I guess you could say that. I think that's the 5th or 4th. And I get a second gas before third pylon. Third pylon should always go down around 23 or 22, no matter what matchup at the latest. So now I get a pylon in advance here because I'm thinking that I might be warping down there later on. So I'm already thinking ahead. And I do spot his Overlord. I go again for more chrono boost. And now I'm gonna throw down a 4th pylon here. And then I will follow this with a Nexus. So I really want to go for the 1 gate expand. And my Zealot will give me a lot of information. I will try to check exactly if he has an expansion. The Zerg will almost always have an expansion unless he's rushing. If he's rushing, I mean, you can just get Stalkers out. You can wall off here with couple pylons and you will be safe against anything. You can pull probes. You have a lot of probes since that's all I chrono boosted. And yeah, this Zealot, I need to keep it alive here. It's very important. So I'm just gonna poke a little bit, try to scare his queen into pulling back a little bit, and I delay this inject, you see? Just by a little, so that's always good. And now I do end up killing his Overlord, so that's also very good. And I'm gonna start walling off here behind the Stalker. I go for a sentry. I don't need to rush the Mothership Core because it's not gonna do all that much. But basically, at this point in the game, I was theory crafting a lot in my head. I was thinking about what I should do exactly, and an idea I came up with is if a Zerg stays on 2 bases and I'm on 2 bases, I will be in a good position. If he takes a third, which a lot of Zerg do when they see a Protoss taking an expansion like this, they go on to 3 bases and they pump out a lot of drones, in which case they will be very far ahead economically. So I thought that Dimaga would probably do that, and I decided to go for the 5 gate pressure that some Protosses do in Wings of Liberty. With basically, I was thinking about what makes this push not work or makes it bad, and I realized that it's sometimes when you move out, say he takes a third here, I move here, I make a pylon, and I end up having to fight around here. We need a lot of force field to fight, and if he gets a lot of roaches, I will be committing myself, and there will be no escape. If he ends up having more than me, I will never be able to leave. He can flank me from behind and kill everything. So I thought, well, what is there in Heart of the Swarm that can make a difference between Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm where this push will be better? And then I realized, if I get a Mothership Core early on, this is my 5th gate, I'm just gonna go into a 5 gate big pressure with lots of sentries, Zealots. And if he has a third, which he does not in this game actually, if he has a third, I'm just gonna stand here with lots of sentries ready to force field, and I will force a lot of roaches and units out of him. So even if he has a third, he's gonna have to stop droning very early because I will move out around 8 minutes. So the max he could have is like between 50 to 60, say if he's like the best Zerg in the world, maybe 60 something. But yeah, that's my plan. I just want to move out. You see, I've already started getting a couple rounds of units. In the meantime, what I want to do is chrono boost a lot of probes or make probes continuously. So now I'm just taking a short break, and then again I will resume probe production behind this. And I basically want him to make as many units as possible right now. I don't want him to make drones, and I want to pull ahead economically. Now I do know that he's on 2 bases. I didn't want to send a probe here to make a pylon because I was expecting a couple overlords to be on the way and him to see it. So I sent them on this side. I sent a probe on this side, and I made a couple pylons here. And now I'm sure he doesn't have a third. You see, I'm checking. But I still want to put some pressure on, just to force him to make units. And you see, his worker supply is 43 minus 42, but my army supply is ahead right now. And I have the mothership core, which is the eject button, basically. If I get in trouble, I can just recall back home. So I'm just going to engage, create a couple hallucinations to try and tank some damage here. I use one of the time warp, which, because I saw he didn't have enough, basically. And also I had force fields, so even if he had roaches here, I bought myself enough time to maybe regenerate and be able to recall. So I was a little bit careless here with my mothership core. Gotta be more careful. I think a good way to use the mothership core when you attack like this is to put it on hold position over here. And then you use your entire army to attack. So now I end up losing it, but I see he really has nothing. I've already seen the infestation pit over there, so I know exactly what he's going for, which is going to be swarm hosts. In the meantime, I've been getting a lot of probes out. I've only killed 5 drones so far, but since I've been chrono boosting a lot of probes, I'm on 46 probes to 38 drones right now. That's such a good position to be in, because I'm going to be ahead economically, and if you can do that against a Zerg, well, I mean, that's not supposed to happen. So now I was going to take a third, and Dimaga did one of the best things he could have done, basically. I guess I was a little bit, let's just say, playing bad at this point, because I could have started my Nexus and the pylon. And one Zergling ends up chasing my probe. And then from there, you're going to see exactly what happens. He's going to get very annoying. He kills the probe. I go for a robo behind this. I get +1. I get my Twilight Council. I get a couple pylons. I was supply blocked heavily here. I have a lot of energy, but nothing to really spend it on except my +1. I don't want to chrono boost my gates. I'd rather save my energy for my robo. So now, I knew there was a Zergling, so I'm going to send a Zealot. And I see that an Overlord has got there and he's dropping creeps, so that's going to be very annoying. My first reflex is to take the 1 base over here. And in the meantime, I'm just making sure he doesn't take a third. I have a couple sentries ready to fungal. And I know he's going swarm host, so he cannot really like fungal my army or something. I know this army is pretty safe for the most part. And basically, the mothership core is going to have a recall very, very soon, so I should be fine. So I want to take this base. Again, he has an Overlord in position, dropping creep. So I put down the pylon this time to be able to warp some unit and maybe get rid of it if I have to. He sneaks a link in my main. Bit reckless by me, but cannot be everywhere, sadly. And yeah, +1 about to finish. I have Blink on the way. I have Robotics Bay on the way. So I'm going to get some Colossi against those swarm hosts. And right now what I'm trying to do is just stay active on the map. I just want to stay in this area so that if he moves towards here and go near my base, I'm going to be able to counterattack his third and kill it. And he cannot be everywhere. I know that he has swarm host. He's trying to take a third here most likely. And his swarm hosts, they have to be around here. They will be sending locusts all around the place. If I can go here and get a couple nice force fields, I might be able to kill his third. So you always have a lot of options. You're not putting your army at much risk by moving out like this. One good thing that I could have done at this point was keep on sending hallucinated phoenixes to see that there is no tech switch, because Mutas could be deadly. But I do have Blink on the way as well as +2 now. Getting Thermal Lance and my first Colossi after I got an Immortal. I got my third on the way. And I see a couple locusts here. I'm just going to force fill them out. One of the options you have when you move out with such an army here. And now I do see he has a third about to finish, so I go for it. I see the locust spawning here. Couple force fields to lock myself out of this there, or lock him out of fighting area here. I'm able to snipe the hatchery, which is always good. Considering I have a third on the way and he has no third, I'm going to be in a great position in this game. I mean, his economy is just so bad. He has 50 drones, I have 58 probes. And you see, I've been making probes continuously. I own 24 on my natural, 21 on my main. When I transferred those close to 16 probes to my third, my economy is going to have a huge boom. I'm going to go up to 2,000 income. He's going to have 1,500, and I can still do more work here. So I'm poking a little bit more, but I need to be very careful. I know he's starting to have a very good count of swarm hosts, so there's going to be a lot of locusts added at me. He's actually doing something very smart. You see, he's blocked my army in. And now I realize it. And I'm not even gonna bother, I just recall losing 0 units here. The thing is, I have almost another recall ready, so I'm just gonna go again around this position, ready to put some harass on. Now I see he's trying to take a third on this side, which doesn't mean he's not gonna try to take it here as well. I'm just gonna warp a couple zealots here and try to get rid of this. I do encounter his swarm host here. I'm gonna pull back. I don't ever wanna be fighting against free units if I don't have to. Because they are free, obviously, I'm gonna lose stuff that's not free, and it's never a good trade. So for the moment, I'm just hiding in there. I have an observer here, pretty well placed, to see if he moves out. And I'm getting enough zealots here to make sure that I kill this, even if there is a couple units around, because he had a couple units around here for a moment. He's finally going to pull back now. And in the meantime, I start +3, I add another forge. 2 forge, very important at this point in the game, and later on I'm gonna add more gates and go for the toilet. And here, same story as before. I end up force fielding and then pulling back after killing the hatch. He had one corruptor trying to take down my recall option, but my stalkers got rid of it. He has a lot of queens, so he's really trying to scramble everything he can out of the situation right now, but obviously he's in a lot of trouble. I mean, he has 2-0 upgrade, but so do I. And I'm gonna be on 3 bases, pretty well saturated. What I want to reach is around 70 to 75-ish probes. So this game I didn't do a great job of that. But if you don't know about it, I'm going to teach you a great way to know if you have the right probe count on 3 bases or even 4. You just look at your main, you should have around 15 on the minerals or 16. Around 16 in your natural, and then at your third base you should have around 20 on the minerals. And all of your 6 gases should be well saturated. So all of my gases are saturated. My main is correct, I assume. I could have had a little bit less and transfer some to my third, but it's 15, 18, and here is 12, so I don't have enough here. And if you press I, you will see that I'm 64. So imagine if I had around 80 here, around 20 probes here, I would have had around 60, I'm very bad at math, 72 probes, which would be a lot more ideal than where I am now. So 70 to 75 is really, I would say, the standard where you want to be at if you're on 3 bases. Obviously, if you're fighting a lot and you're trading, which has not really been the case. I mean, he's been losing units, not me. If you're trading a lot, then it's standard to have a lower worker count than you usually would. But now, I mean, on a 16 minutes 30 game, I've only lost almost 2,000. That's nothing. So right now my probe count should be a little bit higher, and you see I've been cutting. I'm only making some on my third, but now I should have realized that I only 12 here. I should have chrono boosted 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here as a start, and I did not do that. So it's one mistake to fix that I'm realizing while watching the replay. So 6 sentries, pretty good number. I still have my mothership core with my army, and I'm still looking to make something happen. So I already have a robo, I already have a good number of colossi. I realized that he was getting corruptors out. I didn't want to overmake colossi. I know they can do damage during the fight, even if they are getting killed from the corruptors. So my transition is going to be into Templar, and I need to add a couple gates because I have a great economy. I'm on 2 forges. I had a couple zealots and some pylons in position over here already. And I thought one great thing that could do would be to make a War Prism. So I go for the War Prism. I'm immediately going to start War Prism speed. And I'm going to pick up a couple of zealots, start dropping in his main. Because he has Swarm Host, remember. He has no mobility. He has to stand around here. If I drop in his main and he moves back and he tries to defend against this, I get in his third and I kill everything. So again, I'm trying to use his immobility against him. So now he does finally get rid of the one pylon over there. I'm going to go for a force. I was hesitating between this one and this one. In the end, I chose to go for this one. It's pretty equal, I would say. I don't have like a huge preference. And I'm getting charged behind this, which is going to line up very well with my drop here. So the zealots, they're going to be 2-0. They're ready to do a lot of damage. I'm going to start storm and add a couple of gates because my economy, again, is in a pretty good place. Where was his army? He was actually planning an attack, I think, over here. He was getting rid of this pylon and maybe planning an attack. So he was out of position. And, well, he just left a couple of swarm hosts over here. And then I realized this wasn't all that much. If you watch with my vision, I just have like a couple locusts headed at me. And I have this entire army which can get rid of a lot here. I mean, I have force fields, I have blink to save my units. In the meantime, I'm dropping a lot of zealots in the main. I'm in a great position here, so I'm just gonna keep hanging there with the zealot, try to kill as much as I can. And in the meantime, I thought he didn't have enough here, so I kept on fighting for some time. But no, I'm finally going to pull back. And now I do go for the main. And now I'm gonna head back in there, hoping that he might have sent a couple swarm hosts back at home to help with this. But he does not. He still has a couple swarm hosts here, but I mean, they are coming in a straight line and they all die, the locust that is. And then I see that I have enough to fight head on and probably snipe this base and then pull back again, which will basically seal the deal in this game. So I'm gonna stay there. Yeah, you see he clearly does not have enough. I don't have detection. My observer was a little bit AFK in the middle of the map, but it's not that important because I wasn't actually I mean, I didn't have my observer with my army as a mistake. I wanted to have it here to see if he moves out with anything, and I wasn't supposed to take a fight here. I just took the opportunity. I went in there to snipe some stuff. I saw he didn't have enough, so I went in there, I sniped the hatch and couple units, and now I'm pulling back. I'm very far ahead. I just don't want him to be able to come back in this game, so I'm gonna play it very safe. I keep on upgrading. I get more Colossi out. I got another War Prism out, ready to drop, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm gonna saturate this base. You see I'm transferring drones. I've only gone up to 67, so yeah, I was definitely missing a couple probes here. So now I end up warping a couple Templars extra because I wanted to make Archons, but sadly, as I did that, he sniped them. I didn't even have time to morph them. And one very important thing to note is my mix. It's very good this game. I have 4 Colossi and I have about 5 Templars. I think with your army you should almost never accept very particular cases. I guess Swarm Host you can have a little bit more. But a lot of the time I like to have 5 Templars with my army and the rest should be made into Archons so that they can tank. Having like 10 Templars with my army, I hate to have that. So now I was going to take this base and he ends up engaging into me, so I'm just going to pull back. I already have my force, he's probably not even on 3 bases. I drop into his main, I'm ready to warp, and he's just going to call GG because I mean, if we look at his situation, he's out on the map, he has nothing near home, and he knows that here he's most likely going to lose his lair, his pool. And I mean, he doesn't even have a base here. Look at my money. I can make so much units. I've been making gates very continuously here. I've gone up to a lot of gates. So he was just too far behind to be able to recover from this. And that's just the way I chose to deal with the swarm host this game. Come around this place and just try to make something happen. Keep the recall as an option. If he had gone for something else, I might have been less aggressive. Say if he goes for Hydralisks, I might not be nearly as aggressive as I was in this game, but since he wasn't getting Hydralisks, I thought, well, maybe if he gets Corruptors, I'm gonna have to be careful. But if he opens Swarm Host, he opens a lot of aggression possible out of me, especially on 2 bases. And with the start I had a very good start. I killed his Overlord, I pressured, I killed 5 drones, I was ahead economically. If a Zerg goes for 3 bases and then gets Swarm Host, you might have to play very differently, especially on other maps. For example, Aquilon West, it will be very hard to put pressure on, but on this map, it's definitely possible to make something happen, and that's what I did here. I made something happen. I kept the pressure on. I macroed just right in the meantime, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I think I will make a little bit more later. I have a couple nice games I want to do, so give me some feedback, guys, on what you want to see and what you thought about this one. See you later.